My name's Roz, I'm an addict. And I've just melted, as I said it, and and I'm really nervous, and my peers are here, and I want to sound well, and I want to, and all that, and the thing that it's really mad, like all week I've sort of been a bit nervous, not doing the chair in my head, but like the main thing is I've got a really deep voice, and when I'm taped, my voice sounds really low. I mean, I ring up Directory Inquiry and they go, "Would you like the number, sir, or put me through, do you want to be put through?" So, I think the first time I rang my sponsor left a message, her boyfriend went, "Who's that bloke that just rang you?" So for the tape, I'm Roz, I'm an addict and I'm a woman, so I've got that out of the way now. That's out of the way, I can switch off, right? And it's really thing, like in this week, I know I was doing the chair, and last night someone spoke about their first addiction, and it was mad, because I just thought, God, that was me. And my first one was like a slot machine. My mum had a cafe in Euston Station, opposite Euston Station, and there was this slot machine and like 2p's, and I was about 8 or 9. And I just remember like frantically putting these like money in this machine, and looking at all the bright lights, and just waiting for this little red cherry in the corner. I wasn't even looking at what was there. Just as long as I got that red cherry, I knew I'd win, And even when I won, it weren't enough. I'd hit the jackpot a few times and carry on and put it in, and. So when I look, that was definitely my first addiction, and throughout gambling as well. But I picked up pretty late, alcohol and drugs. I did pick up pretty late. I hear that people start at really young, at 8, 9, some 11 or whatever, and I wasn't that young. Anyway, but when I did pick up, I didn't like drink. I didn't like the taste of it. I didn't like the effect it had on me, and both parents were Italian, and of course we was brought up with, like, round the dinner table there was always wine there, and they'd mix it with lemonade or whatever, and I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. But when I did pick up my drug of choice, God, I think I was about 21, and I was working in a pub, and the governor of the pub actually put sulphate in the ice buckets to make everyone drink more. So I was actually on speed before I knew I was on anything, and I used to work in a hairdresser's, and I used to go to work thinking, why haven't I gone to sleep? Why haven't I gone to sleep? I didn't know. And that jaw ache the next day, and all that, and I didn't know, I didn't have a clue. But I remember, when someone went to me here and they put a line on, and they just went like that, take that, and I went to dab it, and they said, no, snort it. That was it, I was in love there and then. I just absolutely loved it, and the progression, it was a weekend thing, blah blah blah, and I met my husband there, and at this pub, and I don't even want to mention it. I sort of joined that criminal fraternity, basically robbed banks very successfully for 26 years. And the reason I'm saying that is because I put up a front, I put that mask on. There was things I was expected to do, which I'd done. And sometimes beyond the call of duty as well. At first I thought it was so glamorous, these clubs, nightclubs and bars, and but there was things I see I wouldn't want anyone to see, not my kids, not anyone, the seedy side of it, the violent side of it, the horrible side of it, basically. But I went along with it, I played the part, and I still felt different. I still felt I didn't fit in, and I had that all my life, felt I didn't fit in. I thought I was different at first because I had 2 brothers, and put it down to that. And, a friend of mine come at me once, and she said she just remembers there was like all the blokes in the corner that way, like, patting backs and all the rest of it. There was all the women in the corner there, and there was just Roz in the middle going, yeah, off her head, like, yeah. And because when I took that, I didn't give a fuck, basically, I just couldn't care less, and two of my brothers as well, both my brothers, we'll go back and think about, like, addictions, why aren't they addicts, no, I'm not, and they're not, they're not addicts, we all grew up in the same house and that, they're not addicts, they can go and have a drink, once a week or whatever, I couldn't. I just always felt different, that's the thing, it just changed the way I felt, and I've done that for many, many years. And then a friend of mine that I was going out using with, she sort of went to rehab and cleaned up, and she came out, and I remember going out with her, and she was in this in our friend's house, you know, and we was all having a drink, going in the toilet, you know, going having a sniff and all this bit. And she was just sitting there, able to be happy, laugh, joke, with an orange juice. And I was thinking, fucking orange juice. And then I just thought, well, me and her were the same. We were the ones that never wanted to go home. We were the ones that were looking for somewhere after the clubs had shut to go to, you know. And I thought, God, if she can do it, I can. But I still had that resistance. I still had that from where I come from. You don't ask for help. You don't grass yourself up. You don't shop yourself. And I couldn't ask for help, basically. You know, all I had to do was say to her, look, how did you do it? I need help, you know. But I couldn't, wouldn't, ego, whatever. And it went on. So for 10 months, before I actually found the rooms, I thought, I'm just going to have a drink. That's it, just going to have a drink. And I tried that for 10 months. And I'd go to a friend of mine who owned a bar, and we're just having a drink tonight, all right then, and we'd do that. Third vodka late, that was it, you know, straight onto the Charlie. And I found the crack pipe as well. And do you know what, looking back, thank God I found it, because I think it just smashed me a lot quicker. You know, it brought me to my knees, and the thought of it, you know, the thought of that crack pipe. And you know, and outside people obviously thought, you know, I had the shop and I might have had the material things on the outside looking in, but I had fuck all. I had absolutely nothing. You know, inside I was smashed. You know, emotionally, spiritually, I was void, blank, dead. You know, and I didn't know how to ask for help. You know, I didn't want to ask for help, and so I went like that for 10 months until I got to the end of, you know, of my using, when I was literally ready to commit suicide. I was sitting there with a bottle of sleeping tablets, ready to end it all, and it got to that point in rock bottom. You know, I hear about high rock bottoms, low rock bottoms, medium rock bottoms, or whatever. For me, I just think a rock bottom is where I just was so low that I just on my knees praying, please God, I can't do this anymore. You know, that was my rock bottom, and you know, I'd been to the churches, I'd lit candles up, please God, stop me. I want to stop. Didn't know how to, and then I just said to my mate, look, you know, how'd you do it? And she'd come to a meeting, and that was it. She just took me to my first meeting. I remember it was a women's meeting on a Tuesday, and I walked in there, and you know, I didn't do treatment. It says we can get clean in the rooms, and you know, you can, and I can't remember. I don't know if Lady was at them first. I think she was, and I remember just sitting there thinking, what the fuck have I got in common with you lot, you know? And I remember in my head coating this woman, because she had a pair of Birkenstocks and a short fringe, thinking, fucking hell, who's this bird, you know? 4.5 years later, I've got a fringe and I wear Birkenstocks in the summer, you know? It was just mad, and you know, if anyone wasn't Cockney, I had to slate him. But then I had that as well going on in my head, like, you know, I hear about people fixing, and they was on smack, and I just felt I'm not as bad as them, I'm not as bad as them, I'm not an addict, I'm not as bad as them, you know, and also that as well, that fucking arrogance, you know what I mean, I'm better than them, I'm not like them. But the flip side of that immediately was I felt like the biggest piece of shit in that room, you know. But I heard something that night, and also from that first meeting, I went home and I had 10 hours sleep for the first time in 18 years. I slept for 10 hours. And I forgot to take my sleepers and my Rohypnol and Valium, whatever I was taking, and I forgot. And I went to bed for 10 hours. And I got up the next day and thought, that was all right, I might go another one, I might get another 10 hours kit, you know. And that's what I went back for, to get 10 hours kit, if I'm honest. You know, and I didn't do 1990. I went back the next week and got another 10 hours kit. And you know, and what I heard was basically, it was the first time in years and years and years I got love shown to me in that meeting. You know, people coming up to me. Sometimes coming up to me, "Are you all right?" You know, I was so angry. I didn't know, so angry. I was going kicking the doors, outrage, and you know, and didn't even know. You know, and related to, you know, what people were sharing, and I just thought, do you know what? Someone knows what I'm going through, you know, because I always felt different. I'm mad. I was told for years by my husband, you're a fucking nutter, and, you know, these Italians, they're highly stressed, and, you know, if you're told that for long enough, you believe it. And I just thought I was mental, basically, and I just kept going back to the meetings, and then it was suggested to me, you know, to get a sponsor, and I remember looking around the room, and I remember, you know, hearing this girl sharing, and what she was sharing, I was like, oh my God, how can she say that? You know, she's grassing herself. I'm like, oh God, I couldn't say that, you know. And years later, I was grassing myself up. The same thing, you know, about things I'd kept and away from myself even. And even when I asked my sponsor to sponsor me, I still couldn't, say like, would you sponsor me? It was like, all right, love, you wouldn't sponsor me, would you? And it was just like that. It was that, And she said, yeah, it'd be my privilege. And I was like, oh, wow, someone wants me. I'd like to sit here and say that you come in the rooms, work the steps, service, work with your sponsor. Yeah, that is it. That's the simple answer to it. Did I do that? No. Ros wanted to do it her way. Basically, I picked up a relationship, and I've got to say this because I've learned from that as well, all my pain, and hands up, I've been one of them ones in the rooms that go, I want a day off, I just want a day off, hands up, I've done that. But I feel by sharing that, I went away from that meeting and I didn't pick up that day. I know we're here to carry the message, but sometimes for me, I think if I can share my truth, my honesty, what I'm going through, and don't pick up, for a newcomer, that means like, fucking hell, hang on a minute, she's going for all that, and and she ain't picked up. For me, that's for me, everyone's recovery is everyone's recovery, but for me personally, because I know if I walked in the room when I first walked in, and if I'd walked into a room for these Birkenstocks and short fringes, and they was all going, oh yes, happy clappium, we're 10 years clean, and I laughed them, I'd have gone, oh fuck off, and walked out the door again. That's, I think personally, that's me. So I don't know, I just try to be as honest as I can, and what I'd done was basically I picked up a relationship and I put my recovery down. That is it, plain and simple. I wasn't going to meetings, I wasn't ringing my sponsor, all the things that are not suggested to do, Ros done, and I felt that pain. I felt it, what I'd done was I put my recovery on a back burner, and what it done, it put me in the oven, roasting, literally roasting, and I got to a rock bottom in my recovery clean, where again I was on that floor crying, please God help me. I got back in contact with my sponsor, and you know what, I missed her. I really realised I missed her. I picked her for all the, just for her. She's got a sense of humour, she's loving, she's compassionate, and I missed her. I really did miss her. We was able to share, and she shared me a bit of good news, and and I'm working my steps. I've got that pen out again. I'm so resistant to do it, but I'm doing it. And since then, I just feel so much better. I've actually let go of that relationship by throwing my old phone in the sea on holiday, because I had it in the drawer and I kept going back to the phone going, let's just see if he's text. And I didn't. I went on holiday and I just fucking threw it in the sea. And a friend of mine went, take the battery out because you killed the fish. And I thought, fuck that, it might float. Fuck it might float and I'll be swimming out for it. But and it was really weird because when I come back, the phone, I kept looking for it in the drawer, but it's gone, it's done, I've let go. It's so much relief. And I was in a relationship that was sick. It was, and I'm not even going into that. But and I just feel so much better. I'm just so. Why don't I just keep things simple? It is a simple program, and I love the drama. I love to. I took every drug that agitated me, aggravated me, kept me awake. I didn't want to be asleep. I didn't want to miss nothing. And I've got to remember that. Right in my step 4, this, my ex-husband, just quickly touching on that this man that I hated, that abused me for all the years. And as I'm sitting there writing about him, and did you say, how did it go? And I just said, well, no, I haven't heard. He threatened to kill me. I had to go. I had to leave London, and now. I prayed for him. I just said to Andy, I prayed for him and he got a bird. Blinding. He left me alone. Touch, thanks. But no, seriously, doing that step 4 as well, it was like, doing the step 4, I can actually see, all right, whatever he done to me, and whatever, he's sick. He's an addict, and I've got some compassion for him, and I never, ever, ever believed I'd hear myself saying that to this man that abused me for 18 years, but I have. He's sick, and he's still suffering, and my relationship with my kids had changed as well. I was the one that sort of leave them in a hotel in Ramsgate and come back to get some crack at Holloway Road and just leave them in the hotel and come back. Today it's not like that. I've got a lot of guilt around it. I need to make my amends to them as well properly, which I haven't done yet, but I know that's coming, and they know, and my amends to them is keeping clean. My amends, to them is listening to them, which I never did, making false promises and was never there. Today I don't do that. And was that 5 minutes, Simon? Because I see the hand go up just about, all right. And thank you for letting me share. And, and I just feel like I'm the warm-up, for Andy later on. But I know if I keep doing my programme, I'm going to be sitting there soon. So thanks, I'll leave it there. Cheers. Thanks, George.